Now, in the game, Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, Drake and Elena, they find the coffin, they pull it up, they open it up, and what's inside? It's not Francis Drake. He's not there, right? Instead, he's got a notebook. His personal journal is inside this coffin, and inside this journal, he references El Dorado, the one and only city of gold, right? All right, so besides Atlantis, El Dorado may be the best known lost city of the ancient world. And besides being the MacGuffin, that drives the characters of Uncharted, Drake's Fortune forward, El Dorado can be found in countless pieces of media. There's even a hit animated feature film titled after the city's namesake with its own hit song. Cue the music. Magnificent. Oh, fuck. Yeah. So, if you have ever seen The Road to El Dorado, you will know that it is a great flick. This is a movie I watched when I was a kid, and this is a movie I watch with my kids. So, I suggest after checking this episode out, you check out The Road to El Dorado. But back to the story. So, where did the idea of El Dorado come from? Well, in the 1500s, when Spanish conquistadors had reached Colombia, they began hearing rumors of a golden king as they made their way through the lands inhabited by the Muisca people. These rumors of a golden man quickly became rumors of a golden city. And as the Spanish passed through village after village, they became more and more convinced this golden city was really out there. Historians believe that the stories of El Dorado are nothing more than a lie told by the frightened people of Colombia as a way to, distract the Spanish and hopefully survive their conquest long enough to escape deeper into the jungles. However, if you take a deeper look at the El Dorado myth, there are several incredibly interesting clues. The first is the fact that the rumor they had heard of a golden king and a golden lake were true. You see, the Muisca had a ritual where the king would cover himself in gold dust, set out on his kingly raft, and submerge himself into the lake, washing away the gold. Then, the onlookers would make a sacrifice of gold and jewels by tossing them into the lake, and this lake was Lake Guadavita. Now, conquistadors reached this lake around June of 1532, and they quickly uncovered this ritual, except the Spanish explorers couldn't believe that people would just throw away gold like this unless it came from a place where gold was so abundant, throwing it away meant nothing. And as the conquistadors hacked their way through the jungles, tribe after tribe told them of a kingdom where the small amounts of gold they were seeing was coming from. And this is where the legends of El Dorado were born. Not the golden one, but the golden place. Now, one might think this is all, a big lie, repeated by the frightened natives in an attempt to move the Spanish along as quickly as possible. Use the story of a golden kingdom as a carrot on a stick in order to keep the Spaniards moving forward. This is what the historians pose, but like I said, there could be more than just a few clues pointing the way to the existence of a lost kingdom of gold. Besides the Muisca and, their golden king, the next example I can think of is the fact that the Amazon jungle is still revealing secrets to this day. And there are stories of a dozen or more lost cities. Stories like the 7 cities of Cibola, Patiti, and the lost city of Z. And speaking of the lost city of Z, Colonel Percy Fawcett, a famous British explorer and member of the Royal Geographical Society, was convinced an ancient, advanced civilization existed somewhere in the Amazon rainforest, and he called this civilization Z. So could Z have been El Dorado? I mean, this Percy Fawcett, he is worthy of his own episode. I'm telling you, this man supposedly killed snakes that were 100 feet long. He recorded in his journal a snake that they killed, an anaconda that was like 120 feet long. And this man, he set out into the jungle with just him, his son, and his son's friend, and they literally disappeared off the face of the earth. Now, it's not that hard to do in the Amazon rainforest, right? But nothing has ever been found. And it's definitely a lasting mystery from the Amazon. And he was convinced that this, advanced culture was out there somewhere. Another clue that we have would be manuscript 512. And this is a 10-page document transcribed by Portuguese adventurers in, sometime in, I think the early to mid 1700s. Now, this manuscript seems to be a transcription of a personal letter reporting on a finding of a lost city. Now, some parts of the document are decayed and illegible, but the author says that they came across an ancient city with Greco-Roman-like influences in Bahia while searching for the lost mine of Muribeca. Now, the Portuguese explorers, they described the city throughout the manuscript, or, portions of the city, and the entrance to the city is believed to be similar triple Roman arch entrance at Timgad, Algeria. They went on to describe other strange bits of architecture and even talked about finding a large manor house on the outskirts of the city surrounded by several other smaller homes. It's not entirely sure whether this manuscript is authentic or someone had just made it up. However, it was discovered in the 1830s, and it was found at the National Library of Brazil, and it's kept at the National Library to this day. Now, these Portuguese explorers discovered the city in the early to mid 1700s. But there's also an account by a one Juan Martinez, who claims to be the only surviving member of Spanish conquistador Diego de Ordaz, who was exploring modern-day Venezuela when he first heard the rumors of a nearby city of gold. And hoping to beat anybody else to the site, he quickly threw together an expedition to find this city, but the mission failed, and all of Ordaz's men died except for Juan Martinez, who claimed that he had been captured and held prisoner for 10 years in El Dorado. So Martinez, he told this crazy tale about, the golden city and its golden structures adorned with precious stones, as well as a king who would bathe himself in gold dust every day. Now, does that sound familiar? And those are just some of the stories of El Dorado. Back in the day, there were Spanish explorers, Portuguese explorers. You even had British explorers like Sir Walter Raleigh, who helped he found colonies in the New World, in North America, And while he never actually went to North America, he sent people in his stead, and found like Virginia and Roanoke. But he also sailed about, around 400 miles into Guyana looking for El Dorado. Now, he didn't actually really find anything, and actually got kind of, a lot of trouble over doing this, wasting a lot of this money, but he was still involved in the search. So, there are just dozens and dozens of stories of explorers looking for this lost city, and there are just countless stories of lost cities existing in the Amazon. I really have no doubt that somewhere out there is a highly advanced, highly wealthy lost city just waiting to be found.